PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Welcome to another edition of PACTV Community News. This week we bring you an art fair at the Pine Hills in Plymouth, a Touch a Truck event in Kingston, and to a women's self-defense class from the County Sheriff's Office.
PCN also has a story about some very useful goats from Duxbury, and we bring you safety information on leaving pets in cars.
Our health and wellness segment gives you pool safety tips, and Town Talk is from Pembroke with more summer happenings from that town.
It's all ahead on this week's show, and we begin tonight in Pembroke at a community-wide pond cleanup event. The Pembroke Watershed Association sponsored its annual pond cleanup last weekend. Town residents joined forces to remove trash and clean up areas like the Town Landing, Little Sandy Pond, Monument Island, and Stetson Pond. PCN visited the PWA and learned about the great work they've been doing to make our ponds the very best they can be.
Pembroke's been blessed with 5 great ponds, and if we don't work at it to keep them up, we're going to lose them. So I think it's really important. I think we've made a lot of progress in the last 10 years or so as far as cleaning them up, and we just have to keep it up, save it for our kids and our grandkids. That's, I think that's the major goal of the Watershed Association, just to preserve what we have.
One of the best things about Pembroke are our ponds, and it's definitely something that makes us a unique community, and it's important to keep them clean, and you know, it's just a little bit giving back, you know, that kind of thing, pay it forward, that sort of thing.
Well, right here it seems a lot less than we did. We haven't gotten around the pond too much yet. Waiting to see how many people I get before I start going out to the island and the other beaches that are out here.
It turned up that Stop and Shop was very willing to have us come and sell raffle tickets here today, so I offered to opt out on the pond cleanup, get a couple of friends that can come down here and sell raffle tickets, and we're doing awesome. The raffle is, first prize is 2 kayaks. Hey, Jim. Second prize is $150 in cash, and third prize is $125.
We're selling raffle tickets for the Pembroke Watershed Association so that the animals can live. And so people can swim and boat in them freely and have fun in the summer.
It's home. It's where my daughters take swim lessons. It's where the kids in the neighborhood go swimming, and it needs to be clean. Actually, it was in pretty decent condition, a lot of overgrowth, but we're good. We got little minor repairs to do, but so it's coming out good. I think it's our second year with that one. The kids love it. Longer, more room to jump, and it looks like it's going to hold up for the long run, so that's good.
We're cleaning the beach to make sure it's clean for Pembroke so no one gets hurt. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't as bad as I expected, but there were a lot of leaves by the fence and there were a lot of cigarettes on the ground.
You know, every year it gets a little bit easier to do because there's less and less trash and people are more aware of it, and folks tend to use the barrels and the recycle bins and that kind of thing. So it's really working out pretty well.
The Pine Hills kicked off the summer season recently with their 10th annual Art on the Green Festival. The gala event featured artists and artisans from all over the South Shore, and PCN stopped by to check it all out.
So this is our 10th annual Art in the Green, and it includes over 80 artists. It's an amazing event, and it keeps growing every year. We have folks from all over the region, artisans and artists from the South Shore, from Boston, from Cape Cod, I mean, really, if you want to be shopping for some of the best crafts anywhere around, this is the show to be at. Starting about 10 years ago, we decided that we really wanted to support the arts in the region. And there's so many artists and artisans that live in the South Shore and Cape Cod that we felt that this would be a great thing for the community. And after the first year, we had about 30 artists. We continue to get more and more that want to be part of this event.
Roadside Redemption is a store that we just opened on Court Street in Plymouth, and we feature 43 local artists. Everything in the shop is created locally by an artist, either restyled, repurposed, or just totally handcrafted. Like my sewing machine cabinet over here, I took the sewing machine out, drilled out the top, and put an old pan in here so that way I could dump the ice. And so we turned a sewing machine cabinet into a wet bar. So everything's, repurposed or reused, so we're not putting a lot more into our landfills.
We've developed a great area for kids. They can make a tie for Dad, and today it's $5 donation, and it goes to the Home for Little Wanderers in the South Shore campus here. There's also a face painting, and that's free, so the kids can have a great time too. You can find lots of great jewelers.
This is the Nature Collection at Pine Hills Art on the Green.
My grandmother was from Kinsale, Ireland, so Kinsale Designs is named after her and her honor. This is a great show. I've done it for the past 7 or 8 years, and it's one of the best shows that I do. And everyone does such a great job.
Well, this is Bass River Pottery's first time here, and it has been a wonderful experience. Everyone's been really supportive, and if we can, we're definitely coming back.
It's picking up now. It was very quiet. A lot of traffic this morning, but it's picked up now, so I'm happy.
We have an amazing steel band. They've been with us for the entire 10 years. It's Magic of Steel. They're from Cape Cod, and they're adding a little Caribbean feel to the day. It's really great to be celebrating the 10th anniversary of Art in the Green at the Pine Hills.
When people think about clearing brush and bushes and all other kinds of troublesome vegetation, oftentimes they think of chainsaws, lawnmowers, and other types of noisy, gas-guzzling implements of destruction. PCN met up with some entrepreneurs that found a more organic and quiet way to take care of that nasty business.
I got 200 for my birthday. Milk in it. They probably don't like the white stuff. I think that's
Goatscaping is using goats to eat poison oak, poison sumac, poison ivy for sure. That's the #1 reason why people call us. They will eat everything green from about 4 to 6 inches off the ground to about 5 or 6 feet, whatever they can reach.
I come out to the space, I play Jedi Warrior with a hedge trimmer, and I cut a path for the fence, because the fence needs a certain width path so that things aren't contacting it and reducing the charge, because it's an electric fence. And I'll cut the path and set up the shelter, pile out the goats, and leave some supplies for the homeowner or business or whoever's hosting them.
The only thing they do leave are stems that are 1/4 inch or thicker. And actually we found out they do leave milkweed. They don't like the substance inside milkweed. Other than that, they'll strip everything green.
They'll do probably 1/4 to 1/2 an acre in a week, depending on the goats. You could put 5 small goats or medium goats in a space, or you could put 4 or 5 adult goats in a space, and they'll pretty much tear down an area in about a week.
Me? Oh, hi, Iris. Who's a good girl, Iris?
Now we are up to 47 goats, and we cover the South Shore and Cape Cod, and we now actually also cover Metro West. We have someone based in Wellesley. So we're thrilled to do this business. We love sharing our goats with people. It has a rent-a-pet aspect, so people really love and enjoy our goats almost as much as we do, and they do a great job.
Every job is different. Every job is the same, but it's always different. There's always the easy side where you put the fence along the nice clear side, and then there's the other 3/4 that you have to cut the path for. So there's always an easy side and always a hard side. They're all the same, but they're all different because the terrain is always different. You know, Hingham, Duxbury, you get a lot of rocks and you get a lot of ledge, and some places have down trees you need to go around. Some places like this don't have a lot of poison ivy. Other places are, that's all it is. So it varies.
One of the things that's most rewarding for us working with the goats is that we know we're doing our little bit for the groundwater, and we're helping to avoid some herbicide with golf courses and residences. So it definitely has a feel-good aspect. I think we're also reintroducing people to goats. Goats are the second domesticated animal after dogs, and goats were actually what allowed humans to civilize into town. So for us, it's really fun for them to rediscover goats, which are so essential to human history. They're a cross between a dog and a horse, actually. So to see people rediscover how wonderful goats are, that's incredibly rewarding.
There were some large trucks hovering around the Kingston Collection Mall last weekend. The Touch a Trunk event, which benefits the Wounded Warrior Project, took over with vehicles such as police cars and fire trucks, ambulances, landscaping tractors, and even a roaming train. PCN was there to bring you this fun story and great community benefit event.
The second annual Touch a Truck event here at the Independence Mall in Kingston is not only a great way to raise money for the Wounded Warrior program, but a chance for the kids to get inside and touch some really big trucks.
Today we're having a Touch a Truck event, which is basically an event where kids can come and play on all different sorts of vehicles like fire trucks, police cars, different construction vehicles. You can hear the sirens, kids get to do all sorts of different fun things. National Guard is here, State Police are here, Kingston PD, Kingston Fire Department, and all sorts of different things are here. So it's a great time, a great free time for kids to come and experience all sorts of different trucks.
I got involved today at this Touch a Truck because I love to get involved in anything that can help any kids out there. And Dave invited me, and I told him yes, and I'm so glad I came. 13 years ago, as a firefighter, I got excited about how much children loved being taught fire safety. So one day I went out and bought a fire truck, thinking I might do a daycare or two, and now I've done over 1,200 birthday parties, and the way I give back to the community is to give it back in raffles or whenever needed, they can borrow it for events like this.
For the kids that couldn't get enough noise from all the bells and whistles, there was also a conga drum display for the kids to bang on. Several vendors contributed portions of their sales to the Wounded Warrior Project, including the ice cream truck and the roaming railroad, which can be seen driving people around the parking lot all day. Meanwhile, Pizzeria Regina donated all of their proceeds from their pizza sales.
We collect money for the Wounded Warrior Project. We have a table with a jar where people can donate, where we're giving away this year little rubber construction duckies, which the kids love for the bathtub or for going to the pond.
Reporting from Kingston, I'm Brian Sullivan, PACTV Community News.
As summer gets underway, we wanted to reach out to local authorities to hear about the real dangers of leaving dogs in cars. PCN met up with the Plymouth County MSPCA representative to hear more.
Hello, my name is Officer Christopher Charbonneau, and I'm a police officer with the Massachusetts Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals here in Massachusetts, otherwise known as the MSPCA. Like every spring and summer, we often get calls for dogs left in vehicles. Today we received a call for a dog left in a vehicle in a parking lot of a local mall. Now I pulled up on the car and I see the dog. It's a small white dog inside the vehicle. He's not really showing any signs of distress right now, but we don't want to wait till that time. So I'll look at the dog and I'll go over to my vehicle, and like most of our officers, we carry instruments to help us read the temperature inside of the motor vehicle. It's a thermometer with an extension that we can place right through the window, and I put it in at 68 degrees, which it is outside, and the temperature's gone up to 74 degrees in a matter of seconds. And it is warmer inside the car than it is outside the car. It's actually a light-colored car, which is going to distract the heat. Now that I know the temperature of the vehicle, I'm going to try to make contact with the owner. One way is possibly contacting mall security with the license plate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call my office, 29 to control, could you run mass reg? My office is going to come back with a registration and the owner, and I'm going to contact mall security and see if we can have the owner paged. In the meantime, if the temperature does rise and the animal starts showing signs of distress, what we're going to have to do is take some drastic measures. Now, the first thing we can do to get the dog out is trying to use a Slim Jim. It's a very common tool. A lot of tow truck drivers use it. We place it in, unlock the door. If we don't have the luxury and we may not have the right Slim Jim tool, we're going to use a tool to smash your window. And what we're going to do is we're going to remove the dog. If it's a small dog like this, we can usually reach in and take the dog out, and we're going to give it some water. If it's a large dog, we may have to put it on a leash or a control stick just to control it. Now, we don't want to wait till the dog dies in the car, so we're going to take the window out, we're going to pull the dog out, and the most important thing we're going to do is remove the dog and bring it immediately to a veterinarian. There could be long-term effects that are injuring the dog that we can't see immediately. So for the dog's health and for our security, we want to make sure he's healthy. And once he gets the clearance from the veterinarian, we'll bring him to the shelter, we'll make contact with the owner. Now in Massachusetts, if you carry an animal in or upon a vehicle in an unsafe or inhumane manner, it's a felony. Not only do you lose your windows and your dog, you may potentially face some jail time. So please, please keep your dogs at home. It's not the place to bring them. A few seconds could mean a few degrees, which could mean your dog's death. Now, on a day that may reach 80, 85 degrees in the summertime, with approximately 7% humidity, the temperatures inside the vehicle will reach well inside of the 90s. And in a situation like that, it's literally minutes before your dog is deceased. That's why we try to ask people, please keep your dog at home. Now you may ask, well, what can I do as a civilian if I see this? My suggestion to you would be to stay with the dog, call 911, and have a police officer dispatched to the mall. If your dog's in the car, we're not going to wait that long to get in contact with you. You could face arrest, criminal prosecution, leave your pets at home. It's the safest thing for them.
The Plymouth County Sheriff's Department has spearheaded a self-defense community program geared specifically towards women. This class teaches not only the proper techniques to get away from danger and survive, but more importantly, how not to get yourself in a situation that may cost you your life. PCN went to the Plymouth County Sheriff's Training Facility to learn more.
So you may recognize me from PCN's Arts and Entertainment Report, but today I'm taking you to Plymouth County Sheriff's Department to talk about what I learned at the Women's Self-Defense class.
Nice elbow, hammer, kicks, nice, hammer fist.
Out of the Women's Self-Defense Program, you first start out with a approximately 35 to 45-minute lecture on awareness. We're not teaching women to be fighters, we're teaching them to be survivors, how not to become a target, and if you are subject to an attack, to locate, think about soft area targets, the mouth, the nose, the eyes, the toes, the finger, the stomach, so forth, with knee strikes, punches, edge fists. These are all the techniques that are taught, basic techniques, one, to get a body change in the attacker, enough distraction and disturbance to create enough space and distance to get away to a safety zone, because you matter. With that being said, we have Maureen, and one of the basic things that we talked about in the beginning was basic stance. Stance is key. Without stance and balance, you don't have much of a chance. So we express the importance of balance, and then we work into something basic as just a 1-2 punch. And we do that repetition. And we just don't teach to punch. We teach to strike with the palm heel. Palm heel, 1-2, through the target, 1-2. That's a palm heel strike. And then we talk about edge fist, using the edge of your fist. Maureen showing the place of location. The edge of the fist, kind of like a hammer strike. Hammer fist coming over the top of the body. 1-2. Good. 1-2. Very good.
Myself and Captain Forts were involved in training with the Plymouth County Sheriff's Department. And a lot of times we sit down and we look at the general needs of training going forward. As society changes, we try to adapt our training to that. We identified the fact that it seemed like there was a rise in random stranger attacks against women, and we identified there's a need for a program for that. We got together and we put the program that we present now together. We brought it to our sheriff. And we're lucky enough to have a sheriff that's very community program orientated, and he let us implement the class. We find that there's almost a sense of liberation with the people in the class. It's like they come in as one person and they leave another person. Everybody seems to take something away from this class.
So with that being said, some of the techniques, the personal weapons, one of the instruments that we like to also put out there that you can get online, it's called a Kubotan, Kubotan, Kubotan. It's 5.5 inches of polyfiber. A lot of people do not even know what that is. So you put a couple keys on the end, your house keys. Imagine these keys across to your face in an X fashion, across the face. Now, if you were to create enough space, I go to grab her, she pushes off, and she has it in what we call an ice pick fashion. Imagine this coming down to my eyes, my mouth, my nose, my throat. So I create enough space, I come at her, and she jams this into my face, my eyes. That is going to be a serious, serious body change. She lives to talk about it.
It's basic stuff that technically we already know, but a lot of people don't think about it when they're in a situation, so it just helps you realize, okay, if this happens, what am I going to do? And just think about it. I would definitely recommend the class, well, any women, but yeah, especially younger kids now that they're out, teenagers they go to the mall or they go here and there, and they're not really paying attention, and it helps them to really realize, what to be aware of when they're out alone.
Yeah, it's made me feel really confident. I work nights, I come home, everybody around me is already in bed, and it gives me a little bit more confidence getting out of my truck at night. The street lights aren't that great where I live, so yeah, it's given me a lot of confidence. I'm not overly confident, but it does give me the confidence, and I really enjoy it. I think everybody should at least try it once, yeah.
So in conclusion, the Women's Self-Defense class is a free service to the public, and what women walk away with is priceless.
Our health and wellness segment brings us some pool safety tips from the Kingsbury Club in Kingston.
Hi, this is PCN Health and Wellness segment, and today we're going to be talking about pool safety. My name is Amy Lowe. I'm the Aquatics Director here at the Kingsbury Club in Kingston, Mass. One of the #1 safety precautions for a pool or any body of water is going to be supervision. Here we have a couple of lifeguards on duty at all times, but they never take the place of a parent actually watching a child. It only takes a moment for a child to drown, whether it's a pool or a pond, so supervision is a key in pool safety. Just because we have a lifeguard on duty, whether it be a pool or a beach for water safety, please don't assume that the lifeguards know if your child can swim or not. What we do ask is that if your child is not a proficient swimmer, that they have some sort of a flotation device on. Safety, noodle, life jacket, something like that to help us. There are many rules that should happen at pool safety. For instance, some of the equipment children cannot use. A kickboard might seem like a fun toy to use in the pool, but a small child that's not a proficient swimmer would not be safe if the kickboard shot away. They would have nothing to save themselves with. So we try and give a child a life jacket or something that we know is going to stay on the child, because we simply can't tell if every child is a proficient swimmer or not. Something we cannot stress enough for pool safety is the importance of having your children learn how to swim. Swim lessons are such a crucial part of swimming for safety, for any age. For water babies, it could be the adjustment of your child just getting wet. And as they get older, it can turn into a lifetime of safety and fitness enjoyment. It's been reported that in the past year alone, 390 children have drowned in pool deaths. Let's get that number down. When you're asking your child what sort of activities they'd like to participate in, although karate can be fun, tumble fun, anything else, swimming should be a #1 priority for all children. It will help us to save lives. This has been Pool Safety for PCN Health and Wellness.
Town Talk this week brings us back to Pembroke for an update from that town.
Well, hi folks, this is Ed Thorne, Town Administrator in Pembroke. here again to give you an update on events that are going to happen in the town and what the town government is up to. When we last spoke, I mentioned some of the recreation projects that we had planned, and obviously they're going to be still underway as we get into some really good weather. One will be the Birch Street Park property that we've got some improvements planned for that, whether it's handicap accessibility or some new ramps down there, or putting a new base on to the park itself. Obviously, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be opening our swim programs. That's going to start on June the 30th, and we'll be setting up swim programs at both the Town Landing on Wampatuck Street and Little Sandy down on Woodbine Avenue. We're looking at the possibility of opening the Furnace Pond Beach off of Furnace Colony Road and having lifeguards down there this year. The conservation agency was able to acquire the property from the Beach Association this past winter, and some of the residents have expressed some interest in having the town down there with lifeguards. So I've been talking to the Town Landing Director, Gene Holland, about that, and we'll be examining the possibility of putting lifeguards down there, for the summer, not for swim lessons, but just for safety's sake. Also out on Matakeesit Street, the Recreation Commission has got some projects that are planned for that, and one that is going to be highly visible to the town will be some improvements to the Herring Run Park. We're thinking about improving the stone bridge that goes over the Herring Run, and some handicap accessibility parking and some handicap accessible paths, and really kind of dressing up the area, especially in and around the stone bridge that goes over the Herring Run. So those are some of the things that we've got from a recreational standpoint. Internally, we're going to have an auction of surplus vehicles here in town. The bid deadline for these vehicles is June the 27th, which is a Friday. We'll be opening them at the Selectmen's meeting on June the 30th. So the list of the vehicles that we have for auction is here at the Selectmen's office and also on the town website. So anybody that's interested in purchasing a used vehicle from the town, might be interested in looking at those lists. So, and of course, here in the financial part of our town, it's the year end. Our fiscal year ends on June the 30th, so we're doing a lot of year-end transfers and a lot of last-minute adjustments for the town budget, which, for those of you that don't know, is about $58 million. So, it's a big ticket, and it's real important that we start the year fiscally sound. So that's pretty much it for the June the 17th and 18th, and going into July. And look forward to seeing you folks, and hopefully we'll have some new information about what the town's going to be doing in the latter part of the summer and early fall. Take care.
Thanks for watching this edition of PACTV Community News. Replay times are listed at PACTV.org. Click on the PCN logo to watch each complete edition or individual story.
Be sure to see us on YouTube by searching for the PACTV Community News channel. Also, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter to receive previews each week with links to all of our stories.
And thanks for watching, and please join us next week for another edition of PACTV Community News.